who's going to be speaking to you from an international perspective. One thing that I like to emphasize with my students is when you live within the US, oftentimes it's difficult. We live in a bit of a US bubble, and we don't often get the international perspective. And anyone who's traveled outside of the country and been able to see the world from outside of a US worldview understands how important that is for just kind of expanding your horizon. So I'm glad that she's bringing that perspective. Widely published with over 80 articles, book chapters, anthologies, and co-edited books. And today, she's going to be discussing Teaching Palestine in Ethnic Studies, the Spirit of 1968, and the Indivisibility of Justice. And I got to say something. Is Flavio still here? Okay. So Flavio, earlier today, you said, hey, it's important to when people affirm you, right? This is my first ethnic studies professor right here. And I gotta say, I invited her to come and speak at this event. She gladly said yes, but then at the end of the email, she told me she was proud of me. I'm saying, that hits me in the heart, right? That affirmation is important. That affirmation is important, especially from somebody that I respect and admire so much. So give it up one time for Professor Dr. Rabab Abdulhadi.
Can you hear me? Okay, so first of all, good afternoon. And I'm really jealous. I wish I were here, I were able to dance, because in my youth, I was dancing all the time as we were organizing, but we've never witnessed a movement as the movement today. All the work we've done. But before I start anything, I want to first begin by acknowledging that my university, San Francisco State, sits on the stolen, unceded, indigenous land of the Ramaytush Ohlone people who continue to live on the land and experience continued acts of displacement. The students and the faculty at the university benefit from the occupation of the land, and we have a responsibility to bring this experience into our discussion on imperialism and occupation, and a commitment to defeat the settler colonial project in the US, and I will continue in Palestine. I make this acknowledgement as an indigenous Palestinian, Arab, Muslim woman of color, feminist and activist, whose land is colonized by Israeli settler colonialism, where it is essential for anyone who comes to visit or lives on the indigenous land of Palestine, all of Palestine, to not only acknowledge whose land it is, but no matter how short or long they stay, and no matter how good or noble their intentions, the fact that they continue to reside and visit and express solidarity as visitors and comrades in arms, their presence must be validated by the indigenous people of the land if they do wish to not be defined as settlers. I also take this moment to ask you for a moment of silence for the fallen and the martyrs, not only in Gaza, but in the streets of the United States, in South Africa, in Lebanon, in Puerto Rico, in Vietnam, in Cuba, in Kashmir, and indeed everywhere around the world. We remember them, we remember those who passed, we remember those who fell in the struggle, and we honor those who continue. I'm so thankful to Professor Cornejo. I said, when I said in the email, I said, at the risk of patronizing you, I want to say, I'm so proud of you, because sometimes younger people do not like it when older people say, I'm proud of you. It feels like patronizing, but I wasn't. I was really proud. I'm so proud that our students surpass all these obstacles, have been able to study, and then they come back to serve their communities. This is so important. And it's so important to teach, educate, and engage in a project that produces change, social change, not produces people who go work for the corporate world or engage in companies that produce weapons. So this is, for me, it's like music to my ears when I hear something like this. So thank you so much, Danny. Today, I will discuss a few things. I will discuss the centrality of the spirit of 68 to scholarship, pedagogy, and our communities. What has gone wrong and what needs to happen to restore that spirit in ethnic studies so we can stand the current and future challenges and emerge as victorious as the 1968 striker. I will also focus on the program that I was brought to San Francisco State to set up, the Arab and Muslim Ethnicities and Diaspora Studies program, and how its growth is necessary for the present and the future of ethnic studies, and the struggle over teaching Palestine, and how hard it has been to resist Zionist, white supremacist, and colonialist systemic campaigns to criminalize Palestine in the curriculum. So first, let me just share with you why I came to San Francisco State. And actually, you were my first year of teaching. I had taught one semester before. I came to San Francisco. I was recruited to come and build the program as the 5th department in the College of Ethnic Studies. And I was, at that point, the director of the Center for Arab American Studies at University of Michigan Dearborn, Arab Mecca. Before I signed my contract, I insisted on several things, including that Ahmed Studies be housed in the College of Ethnic Studies, not in the humanities. That the college has to hire faculty to constitute a critical mass, because one person cannot build the program, provide an appropriate budget, and support the program growth as a multi-purpose home of knowledge production, student activism, and community engagement, not only for education, but for education that's very much connected with the community. I wanted to build the program in the spirit of the student strike of 1968-69, which was led by the Black Student Union and the Third World Liberation Front. The students demanded the decolonizing of the curriculum and the creation of an educational program that reflect, legitimize, and validate the lived experiences of marginalized communities. They demanded a different relationship between the university and the community, in which the university does not only produce scholarship and advanced academic careers, but is accountable, transparent, and collaborative with the communities. They wanted a respected and reciprocal relationship between the two. This is exactly what we have been building in Ahmed, and why there is so much resistance to us continuing to build. Of course, as you know, there is a very real need to educate the academy and the public at large about Islamophobia, anti-Arab discrimination, and the struggle for justice in and for Palestine as part and parcel of the indivisibility for justice. This means we do not advocate only justice for Palestine. We advocate all sorts of justice: gender and sexual justice, class justice, justice for immigrants, justice for people who reclaim their lands, for jobs, for healthcare, for All of these are part and parcel of this. We do not rank oppression, and we do not think that one struggle is more important than other. They are all important within this framework of the indivisibility of justice. Of course, there is a low bar, as you know, for Arab and Muslim Palestinian bashing, as you know, not only today. Today, the news is very much out there, but it has been going on in the United States, even at San Francisco State. And many of the incidents are not readily recognizable as racist, discriminatory, or xenophobic. So we end up being gaslighted, dismissed, denigrated, demeaned, disrespected, and you know. I refused to sign the contract until the university agreed to that. The only thing I was unable to get was I asked them to match my salary from Michigan. They said we cannot afford it because San Francisco is more expensive. I said, it's okay, I'll take the hit because this is something that I was very excited about. And the reason I wanted to actually come to San Francisco State is because it was dealing with the ethnic studies in a third worldist manner. For me, that was what was really interesting about it. But before I do that, let me just say that just like the conditions 68, 69, at San Francisco State, my hire also came amidst turmoil, struggle, and so on. It wasn't an easy hire, even though in 2002, a task force, a university president's task force of 200 demanded the creation of a program for Arab/Islamic, and we changed it to Muslim, and Jewish studies, and get senior faculty members. Of course, now we have a department of Jewish studies with 2 or 3 endowed lines, and we still have me, one person in Ahmed studies. Okay. And this was because after 9/11, 2001, everybody and their cousin wanted to study Islam and Muslims. There was a lot of money and funding in it. Part of it because now the academia all of a sudden discovered that there is a curious thing that they can study. But part of it also because the US was about to invade Afghanistan and Iraq, and they needed experts in the military, in intelligence, and so on, who spoke Arabic, who could actually detect. And we had the dean at San Francisco State who informed the military on how people who speak in Iraq, what jokes they make, how to understand the jokes, and so on. He wasn't a native informant. He was an informant, basically telling people how to control other people. But they wanted to do that. I specifically said that we cannot create Muslim studies unless you have maybe 15 faculty members who know Islamic jurisprudence. So we do Muslim communities. We talk about ethnicities and diasporas. And at that time, also, this came as a result of the university president had disciplines, the General Union of Palestinian Students, sanctioned for 6 months, and they did not allow them to be active on campus. And so on. This story will continue as we go along, and which was actually unfairly, despite all the investigation. The task force was done in order to resolve the tension with the Palestinian students, because the community was up in arms, and the community is very much connected with the university, just like the 68 strikers. But the second development was around the Palestinian mural that you remember it, right? Because you came this semester after it was inaugurated. It's designed to honor the late Professor Edward Said, and it joined SFSU murals honoring Malcolm X, Cesar Chavez, South Asian and Filipino struggle, the Pacific, and finally Native American indigenous communities. This was one of our major accomplishments. There were a lot of issues around it. They demanded that we remove some symbols, which I thought if you would like, we can discuss them more, expand upon them. Palestinian symbols like Hamdallah, the cartoon character, the key of return of Palestinian refugees, and so on. And we ended up having to remove it. But we built the program in Ahmed, despite all the attacks and so on. We now have a minor, academic minor. We have 22 courses which all fulfill GE, despite the fact that there's only one faculty member. But I wasn't working alone. I was working with the community, and I was working with the scholars around, and I was working scholars around the world. Everybody lent their hand to create the program because they were trying to shut us down. We said, we're going to do it, and we did. We were engaged in mentoring junior, and we continue scholars. We were connecting with communities, networking with local, US, and international. We build not only the Edward Said Scholarship and mural, but we also have Edward Said Scholarship. And we have a course after Professor Edward Said. Thank you. we organized the only agreement between San Francisco State and any site in the Arab or Muslim world with An-Najah National University in Palestine, which also was targeted and attacked, but they couldn't shut it down because we had crossed all the T's under all the I's. So they tried, they failed. They had 5,000 signatures. They lobbied the president and the chancellor, they failed in that. We organized delegations. Sometimes the university does not recognize them, including 2011, the Indigenous and Women of Color Feminist Delegation. You may know about it if you don't look it up. It was members of it were Angela Davis, Chandra Mohanty, Beverly Keefe Sheftal, Wazia Tawan, and so on and so forth. And we have a very strong statement about that. We had in 2014 an academic and labor delegation. In 2016, we organized the first US prisoner solidarity delegation to Palestine. And I was very happy to see a poster of Emory Douglas, because Emory was a member of that delegation. And so were other people, and I will speak about them in a minute. And in 2018, we organized the first Teaching Palestine delegation, where we organized conferences with An-Najah and Birzeit universities. And then we went and visited all Palestinian communities around Palestine, except we couldn't go to Gaza because it was blocked. And we had to get permission from the Israelis, which we weren't going to do. But we did all of this stuff. In 2022, this last year, 2 years ago, we were organizing Teaching Palestine to mark the 40th anniversary of the Sabra and Shatila massacre. People know the Sabra and Shatila massacre. It happened right after the Israeli invasion of Lebanon, the siege of Beirut. Israel withdrew. The US promised the PLO that they will protect Palestinian civilians. They walked away. Right-wing Lebanese, along with the Israeli military, went and slaughtered between, people say 800 to 3,000. Nobody knows, because there is a mass grave. Because the only way people found out about it, after 3 days, the body started decomposing. So they had to bury. So we want to commemorate the massacre to ask for accountability. Who's responsible? Because people survivors of massacre tried to take it to The Hague, tried to take it to multiple tribunals, and the United States and Israel collaborated to set up certain ways in the laws to prevent the witnesses from coming forward. So the survivors still say we want justice. So we went and visited them, we organized it. And all of a sudden I received an email from the Dean of the College of Ethnic Studies telling me, we see that you are organizing a delegation and a conference on Teaching Palestine in Beirut and Tunis. There was a big conference in Tunisia, so we're going to go after that to Tunisia. And you are using the Ahmed logo, my program, and San Francisco, where I work. You're not allowed to do that. If you'd like to organize a conference as a private citizen, go ahead. I'm like, why would I want to organize a conference as a private citizen? I mean, the only reason I engage formally with other universities because of the university, but I have colleagues throughout. I studied at Palestinian universities. I taught at Palestinian. I have connections. I'm doing it formally because of the university. And so I decided to ignore it. I sent the email to the union and I said, deal with it. I'm not stopping. And the union actually found out that nobody at the whole university was ever asked, no scholar was ever asked to ask permission before they went on internet. This is like the whole singling Palestine, targeting it, and so on. But this is part of the whole, the harassment that we are subjected to that comes from multiple places. We have organized, once COVID took place and we were having hard time reserving rooms in the College of Ethnic Studies, in the library, we reserve a room. We had, by the way, a very big event on Afro-Palestinians and African Americans with Emory Douglas and Palestinians in Jerusalem, the old city, the Afro-Palestinian community. And all of a sudden, the library writes to us, says, we cannot have the event because the provost and the president are coming to inspect the room. We said, we already have it signed and so on. And they said, no, they need. I said, well, they are more than welcome to come. I was thinking maybe they'll learn something. And but they said no. I said, no, we're not going. We're going to stay in the room and we're going to hold the teaching there. But this was very problematic for us. So when COVID happened and they reversed all the classes to online, for us, it was good news. I know for other faculty, it was really hard because teaching online, you have to prepare a lot of work, right? And before, when I was teaching online because of my disabilities and safety, some faculty were calling me lazy. And I said, no, actually it takes a lot to prepare classes online because everything is in writing. It takes a lot of work. You can't do it on the fly. And anyway, so we thought, wonderful. Now the world is our oyster. So we started organizing multiple open classrooms. We always had open classrooms. You remember, we always invited people from the 68 strikers, from people who worked on the film COINTELPRO, counterintelligence program. All people always came to speak in the class, and we always connected with people outside of the class. But this was now online for the whole world, and we didn't have to pay a penny, which we had no budget because they stopped our budget, and we didn't have to go beg for rooms. So we said, and after George Floyd was killed at the end of May, we organized a huge campaign to celebrating the Black Intifada and bringing the Black radical organizers to speak to Arab audiences. So we collaborated with this incredible journal in Beirut called Al-Adab, and whose founder editor was a former student at Columbia University. You know what's happening at Columbia. And he went there and set up the center, and we organized it together, and we did it in Arabic and English. So people in the Arab world can also understand what's going on. And we brought top, you know, we had Angela Davis, we had Guy Odor, we had Robin Kelly, we had Beverly Gisheftal, we had, oh my God, I forgot his name. Anyway, it is online. And we, 15,000 people, 15,000 people, we don't have any money. And then we had another one on abolition and reparations with Oscar Lopez Rivera and many other people and indigenous folks and so on. And we believe at that time the Zionists were very upset because now we not only got out of, but we actually were able to even reach more people, and everybody was learning and everybody was sharing. They didn't have to pay any money. So in September, we organized a panel with several organizer luminaries, among them Ronnie Kasrils, who's a former fighter in the African National Congress, and then also was a minister, anti-Zionist Jew, who actually became anti-Zionist after 1948. Laura Whitehorn, who was a member of our delegation, a queer, white Jewish woman who spent 14 years in prison in the US. The late Seko Odinga, may he rest in power, who was part of Black Liberation, and who spent 33 years in prison, worked with Malcolm X, and the acting director of the Birzeit Women's Studies Center. So people don't know that actually we have women's studies. They think we're always oppressed and all the men are oppressing us and we're excessively homophobic, excessively sexist, and so on. So and Birzeit Women's Studies actually was the first one in the whole region, before even Israel set up anything, because Israel always presents itself as the modernizing, the most women-friendly, queer-friendly, and so on and so forth. And this was called Whose Narratives? Gender, Justice, and Resistance, a conversation with Layla Khalid. So we invite the Palestinian militant Layla Khalid because we had in the spring organized 2 classrooms online, myself and my colleague, Dr. Timomi Kinakawa, from Women and Gender Studies, where we showed some of the films and we talked about that and we critiqued them. And then we thought, let's see if they will accept our invitation. They said yes. All of them said yes. So we're like, my God, we'll get the piece. And the students couldn't even believe it. And we had 1,400 people signed up on Zoom. We had 4,000 people signed up on Facebook. We had students who were gathering in watch rooms to watch it and so on. The Zoom said the Zionist movement organized a big campaign to shut down the classroom. They had an app called ACT-IL that bragged that they sent 19,000 messages to Zoom, Facebook, Google, and so on to shut down, saying that we are glorifying terrorism. Our university presidents put out 3 statements saying that I abhor the glorification of violence. And actually, the reason we were bringing Layla Khalid because we wanted to talk about gender, justice, and resistance. How is it that, because she's frozen in time as somebody who hijacked planes in 1970, but nobody knows what happened to her afterwards. And this is something that I've written about and analyzed in my work. So this was continuation of the classroom we did in the spring. And people invite all sorts of people to the classroom. We weren't doing anything out of the ordinary. We did have Oscar Lopez Rivera, who spent how many years in prison. So it wasn't really the first time that we were doing something that quote unquote controversial, but this is Palestine, right? Welcome to Palestine. So the university, they pressured Zoom, and Zoom decided to shut down the classroom. Zoom contacted the university. The university contacted us and said, are you paying them any honorarium? And we all started laughing, and our speaker started laughing. They said, we are going to charge for organizing something about the struggle. Are you crazy? Like, this is an insult and so on. We said no. Said, oh, okay, we're not paying them any money. Are they going to come talk about terrorism? I said, what defines terrorism and so on is going to be one of our topics. Of course, we do it all the time in all our classrooms, all the time. Almost every classroom we discuss it, right? And all classrooms discuss it, not just us. And the university said, oh, okay, it's not illegal, you're not violating illegal, but we were accused of material support of terrorism. Our provost sent us a letter, email, saying we heard from some people, we know it's Zionists, that you might be engaged in material support for terrorism. This is illegal, you might be imprisoned and presented with a fine, and you need to find lawyers. So we wrote back to her. We had to hire a lawyer at that time because we didn't really want to be chased in the middle of the night. Somebody knocks at the door and come, and we get taken rendition somewhere, we do not know where, and so on. And so the lawyer wrote and said, actually, we're not violating any laws. Even the laws we disagree with, we weren't violating, and that we weren't doing anything wrong. And we asked the provost to hire lawyers from the university to defend us because they said no. We asked them to give us the names of the 1,400 people who contacted us because our students were coming to the class. I had 4 students. Dr. Kinakawa had two classes. I had 4. Dr. Kinakawa had 2, and the students were confused. What's going on? They're coming to a class to attend. So we wanted to reach out to people. A lot of Zionist groups from the Jewish Journal and Allgemeiner and so on signed up. And they said, ask her about this. I said, come and ask her. No problem whatsoever. We have no problem if you would like to come and ask her any questions you want. But they sent an email from my email account to all the participants saying the class has been canceled. I never sent it. And they refused until today to give us the names. The university president published a statement to the campus saying that she abhors violence. She never reached out to us to say, what are you doing? Are you crazy, for example? What are you doing? Come tell me, explain to me, because we're very well known feminist scholars. We know exactly what we are doing. We have analyzed this stuff. We have written about it. She never reached out to us, but she was meeting the whole time with Zionist students, with Hillel all the time around the clock. And then she published a statement saying, I abhor violence, exactly the same formula as Zionist groups. And then also in it, she said that she's against anti-Blackness, Islamophobia, and anti-Semitism. When she published the same statement in the newspaper of a Zionist organization, J Weekly, she took out anti-Blackness and Islamophobia and only left anti-Semitism. We were actually shocked. It's like, why would you even do that? That's so stupid. You're hitting yourself in the face. And then she published a statement saying that Zoom has right to its terms of reference. We said, why? Zoom has 400,000 users and throughout CSU. You have a contract, you're paying them to provide you with the service. It is their obligation not to interfere in the content of the classroom, not to say what professors teach and what they don't teach. They cannot be arbiters of what we teach in the classroom. It is your job to fight Zoom with that. They did not. Then we said, oh, give us a venue. Zoom is not, give us another venue. We said, like, if the broken pipe is in the classroom, maintenance comes and gives you another room. If the media doesn't work, they give you another room. It is the responsibility of the administration to do so, not faculty, because we're not opening our own private colleges. We work for the public university. They wouldn't do that. So just for you to know the end of the story, we have not been able to do the classroom, but we grieved. We filed grievances against the university, and faculty hearing panel of our peers, which we did not know. They come out of a chaotic, what do you call it, spontaneously, they take them out of a lotto. And the three faculty on mine and on Dr. Kinakawa unanimously ruled that the university did us harm, must apologize to us, and must allow the classes to be held, and must stop collaborating with Zionist groups. Both. Great. But the university president vetoed the two hearings, which is supposed to be faculty shared governance and so on, and blocked it. So we appealed. And now we are going to arbitration. Actually, in 2 weeks, we will have the arbitration. We joined the arbitration, the two of us, and we're going to the arbitration to insist on our rights and force the university to actually do what is right. I have another grievance, which I also won, about the Ahmed Studies program, because they took away our faculty. The president of the university canceled our searches after 2008, 2009 war on Gaza to placate Zionist groups, and they never reinstated them. They cut out our project and they basically left me alone to build the program on my own. I think they were hoping that I would give up. And so I wasn't, because this is a program for the people. This is, the community wanted the program. So we all said, okay, we do work more and so on. We did it. So we agreed. And again, 3 members also, I don't know who they are, were selected, and they ruled unanimously in my favor and said the university caused me harm, that the university should apologize. And the university, and I was exposed to intellectual isolation, and that the university must hire the 2 faculty members at the associate and full level. Because if they were hired in 2007, they would be full and associate by this time. Of course, the president of the university vetoed. So I'm in another arbitration. Okay, so now this year is the year of arbitration. Now, I know a lot of you think about legal, people say causes go to the court to die, right? But they only win when there is a whole movement behind it. I mean, and because the law is always lagging behind, because the law is constituted by the people who are in power. It represents the interests of people in power, if we know the historical thing of it and so on. But here we had our people doing that. Okay, so now we'll continue with our work, but the most recent thing we happened last semester, my course on Palestine was canceled, which is the only course in the whole university and fulfills all GE requirements and very popular course. They canceled it. I said, I'm not going to teach the other courses that you fought. They wrote a letter of reprimand against me. I said, I don't care. I'm not going to do it. This semester, I got the course. I applied for the course in the summer. They canceled the course, the Palestine course in the summer, in the midst of the genocide in Gaza. The only course students might want to learn about Palestine. We don't even understand, why would you even do that? So we're raising a big campaign. We'll reach out to you. We hope that you all support it, because we're going to have the course. And if they don't allow us to do it, we will do it on our own anyway, because that's what I did this semester. So this is where we're at. I want to just say a few things about the spirit of 68 and what are some of the things that I think why this is happening. Why this is happening not only from Zionist groups. Why is it happening from the university, public university? And why is it happening in the College of Ethnic Studies, right? It shouldn't be. This is supposed to be our haven, our refuge. This is where we go. Well, I think that I told you what the 68 strikers were, and Danny was actually when we commemorated the 40th anniversary of the college, and all the students participated, met the strikers from 68. Many of them have passed away, like Terry Collins, who was a member of the Black Panthers Party, Margaret Leahy, who was a professor who was responsible for collecting bail for the students. That's what her responsibility. And we had Damira Ahmed, who was Charlotte Simmons in the 60s, became a Muslim. And actually, when we met her in 2008, she said, where is the Palestinian system? So I went and speak to her. She said, I support Palestine a lot. I named my daughter Layla, about Layla Khalid. Wow, okay. So I said, I have her memoirs. You want them? She said, yeah, I sent them to her. So we became very close to the strikers. And we brought them to the classes in the belief that we call them living archives. They can come and share experiences, because not everything is written. And the way things are written are very problematic sometimes. And I'll talk about that in a minute. So they come and they engage with the students, because some students have put a halo on the strikers of 68. And some students say all these experiences are useless. That there is this kind of like extremes and so on. So we wanted the strikers to come to speak about the lessons, about the victories, about what made them win, what are the certain things that they were forced to compromise, and so on and so forth. So we've been doing that all along, and we actually, fortunately, we have videos of many of them. And if you remember, we did this big thing called Spirit of Bandung. And then we had all these strikers sitting around the room. I mean, I have to tell you, it was electrifying. even for me. And I know so many long-term strugglers, it was incredible. And every one of them will get up and say something and speak about what they wanted in 68 and where they were at, and so on. And this is part of the whole, and this is all connected to the radical history of the 60s. It wasn't out of a context. Just like today's protests around Palestine and the global solidarity movement is not out of a vacuum. It didn't just happen. There has been years and years and years of building. This happened in the 60s around the time when there is a huge movement against the war in Vietnam. We know Muhammad Ali basically refused. I saw a student actually wearing a t-shirt earlier on. And he's a hero in Palestine. Everybody loves him. And because he refused to go fight against the Vietnamese. Palestinians love the Vietnamese. We also remember the San Jose Student University athletes when they in the Olympic Games in Mexico, who stood, raised their fists, but not only that, they also did not wear any shoes, to bring people to say why are not, and then they can talk about the history of enslavement, of kidnapping and enslaving African people. I mean, they were amazing, you know. And so it's just like there is so much history that there is really important. Some of the thing was the fact that in the 60s, which is something we're doing too, is that the strike was the organizers of the strike, the Black Student Union, were very much supported by the community, including members of the Black Panther Party. So one of the people who were on our delegation was Hank Jones, who was from the San Francisco 7. And he actually moved from the South to San Francisco as a Black Panther to mentor the students about what was going on. And he had originally been in SNCC, in Student Non-Violence Coordinating Committee. That's a whole another history and so on. So there was a lot of the stuff that students were so much involved in. And we knew that actually what we do has to be connected with the community. We've never ever, as a student, we've never done anything without connecting with the community. As an organizer, we never do. You can't do it on your own. You can't do it within the university alone. It doesn't really work because the university of all these rules and regulations crushes you, and then who's going to hear about you and so on. And you do it. And also we produce knowledge. We are the ones in the places we get paid to produce knowledge. We get studied to produce knowledge. If we're not producing knowledge as organic intellectuals for the community, what's the point? Why are we doing it? So this is in order to connect with each other, to employ indigenous knowledge, hear from our elders and so on. And some of the things for us, at least as Ahmed, we were finding, like I was finding very interesting, is that in 68, there were Iranian students and there were Arab students involved, but they're not part of the narrative. Whenever you read, they're not part of the narrative. We attended an ecumenical service, religious service, and I said, I went to one of the strikers, Terry Collins, and I said, I don't want to make any assumption, but there were no Muslims, there were no Black Muslims. He said, actually, no. The one who started the strike was the president of the Black Student Union, who was a Muslim. Erased completely from history. Like, this is some of the things that are not there. Same way, when people speak about Cesar Chavez, for example, not only they forget about the Filipino workers, which people know about, but they also do not mention that Yemeni workers were working with him. And also one of them was martyred, Nagiday Fallah, because he stepped in front of Cesar Chavez and was killed. Nobody knows this history. All of this history is completely erased from studies, ethnic studies, that's supposed to actually enable us. That's why the whole field was created, to allow us to learn about our communities. The same way in Detroit, for example, there were a lot of organizing collaboration between Black workers in the UAW, United Auto Workers, and the auto plants, and Black and Arab workers, and actually they stuck several times against Israel and so on. Then that was the 50th anniversary in 2020. All of this stuff is not mentioned. Even at San Francisco State, I discovered that there was a professor, her name was Dolores Cayo, who signed. I mean, nobody knows. I mean, actually, nobody knows about her as even somebody who created the dance program. She went to Nigeria, created the School of Dance. The woman was incredible. She had signed a statement that I've been studying that was published in November 1st, 1970 in the New York Times. And it was a statement from Black radicals in solidarity with Palestine. And the statement, I invite you to look at it because it was a treatise about the analysis of the conditions at the time. Almost every single struggle is involved in it. they actually took a lot of time to establish that anti-Zionism is not anti-Semitism. They cited many anti-Zionist scholars, and they cited a lot of readings and so on. They spoke about what's going on. They spoke about Palestine. It's an amazing, but by the way, most people don't know about it. And most people do not know that Dolores Cayo signed it along with Ella Collins, the sister of Malcolm X, signed it along with many leaders in the Grace Lee Boggs in Detroit. Many, many leaders have signed that statement. So nobody knows about it. And even people who are studying Black Palestinian solidarity, they think it started with Trayvon Martin in 2012, or with the killing of Mike Brown in Ferguson. But actually, it goes way, way back to the 40s and so on. And this is some of the stuff, that history that people don't know about. And the things that's known about is that I hear sometimes from colleagues saying, well, the Jewish community was supporting us. And I said, which Jewish community and supporting which Black community? People in the Jewish community who were anti-imperialist, anti-Zionist, anti-capitalist, of course. Why wouldn't they support? Why wouldn't they support the Black struggle for liberation? People who supported the state of Israel are not going to be supporting anything, because the defense minister, war minister of Israel was taken to Vietnam in 1967 by the US to train them into how to pacify the Vietnamese population. I mean, there's collaboration with Guatemala, El Salvador, Nicaragua, Honduras, Brazil, Chile, Haiti, what have you. I mean, there's a whole lot of history. South Africa, Philippines, India, Modi. There's all of this stuff that's there, but people don't even know about it. So this is one of the issues that actually absent. The whole narrative is silent on many, many things. And I believe some of it is intentional because of the ideological views, and because maybe people think that, okay, Palestine is too controversial, I would like to have my job and keep it and so on, I don't want to touch it. Some people also employ a very conservative view of now, recently they have been saying, we have to be true to what happened in 68. And we say, what happened in 68? They said, we created 4 groups. We say, actually in 68, the strikers wanted a college of third world studies. The university gave them a college of ethnic studies and invited Jewish studies to join. Jewish studies said, no, we don't want to join with all these radicals and so on and so forth. So it stays a college for communities of color. It has American Indian studies. But I'm one of the people who argues that American Indian, indigenous people should not be called communities of color. They are the stewards of the land. They're the indigenous people of the land. And it should be, we cannot just homogenize everybody into one thing. And so we really need to do the work, even if it's more difficult. Also, third world studies, because the strikers actually wanted to connect with third world struggles, but also saw themselves as part of third world communities within the US, which was contesting the foreign domestic dichotomy that was imposed upon us by the government, by the forces that be, by the experts in the Pentagon and the Council on Foreign Relations and the State Department and what have you, all these various outfits and so on, to basically say that people who don't have the degrees from Ivy League schools and don't have the certification of being expert have no business speaking about international issues. And we always call them internationalism, not foreign. Because we also don't accept that there are the borders are set. They're colonial borders. They've been set by colonialism. Secondly, the United States reaches all over the world. Why is it that people who live in the United States can't actually communicate with other people around the world for justice, not for war and killing? So this is one of the things, but also it's also one has a very devious intention to domesticate communities of color, indigenous communities who were very radical, into becoming docile citizens of the US and think that Washington, Americanness, is the most important thing that they want to aspire for. And of course, we all know that we will never, ever become full citizens of the US. It doesn't matter if you have the citizenship. Because, I mean, even white folks cannot accomplish the ideal that they set for themselves, which is the myth in the Declaration of Independence and so on. We know that. But that it's not going to happen. But there is this kind of thing that you become domesticated. You are wardens of the state. You're not, and at the time, and now, and we see what's happening today, is that the powers that be basically said, we will never, ever allow another 68 to happen. So San Francisco State, I don't know if any of you know, but the United States government commissioned a report about San Francisco State saying, what's with the strike? Who's involved in the strike? Who are the people? 168 pages, 118 pages. It was led by Judge Orrick, who presided over the Patty Hearst case, like really very, very big guns. And say, what is it with the Black Panthers? What are they doing? And I remember at that time, the FBI had created the counterintelligence program that not only spied on multiple groups, Chicanos, Chicanas, Puerto Ricans, American Indians, all the movements, right? They were spying on them, but also they engaged in assassinating, imprisonment, and we know that ugly history. So they actually were trying to find out what's going on. Why is it that the Black Panthers here? But it also explained why is it that the students in 68 were so radical. It wasn't just the Black Panther. There was this engagement. They were connected with everybody around the world. And I'm actually always very surprised, pleasantly, when I talk to somebody of the strikers and says to me, well, what happened so and so in Palestine? You follow all these, they were following all the news. They knew all of the stuff that's happening. The same way many of us in Palestine knew what was going on in the US. I was young, but the people who were older than me, they knew what was going on. All the revolution around the world were reading The Wretched of the Earth by Frantz Fanon. You see pictures, but everybody, we read it in Arabic, we come here, people are reading it. Around the world, this is Cabral, Che Guevara. Everybody was reading similar literature and organizing and thinking about it. This is one of the things, the domestication. The other thing, the structurally that happened, is the rise of the neoliberal university. The neoliberal universities, part of it is because the universities are becoming much more privatized. And they depend on something called donor-driven contributions. Donor-driven contribution means that universities do not accept unconditional donations, which was always the way in the past, but the donors themselves decide how their money is going to be spent. So for example, the Zionist donors to San Francisco State told the university that if they do more to stop David Horowitz when he put all these ugly posters about us, accusing us of terrorism, anti-Semitism, Jew hatred, and so on, 26 posters, or did them 4 times, the university did not do anything because they were told that if they do, the donors will withdraw their money. They had a grant from the Koret Foundation, pro-Israel one, $1.5 million, they withdrew it. And by the way, we learned about this in the lawsuit that was brought against me and the university by one of the Zionist groups. So this is also very problematic, but it's also very problematic because we can't get public records, because this is not subject to public records. This is behind the scenes. This is like the Koch brothers and so on, behind the scenes. It's all private. It goes into the private foundation and the private corporation, and we have no way of knowing. We just hear sometimes, oh, people had dinner somewhere, they went to the Chamber of Commerce and so on, but we can't find out what's going on and where is the money. Like, we want to follow the money. We can't. There's some people in 2015 did a report, followed the 4,900 of all the foundations, the nonprofit, and found out where is the money going and so on. But it's very, very tedious work. And now there is even more rules to hide the money, because when we look at what's going on today and so on. The third thing that happened, of course, I talked about the question of people actually changing the college from being a college of the people. So when the college was founded, they fired Professor Nathan Hare, who was the mentor for the Black students. They stopped the experimental college where students were teaching each other and learning with each other. They stopped a lot of the things. Now, and they hired people who are actually, quote unquote, professionalized and institutionalized. So some folks don't even know the history of our people. Some folks don't care about the history of our people. Some folks apply, quote unquote, science the way it is, even though there's so many critiques in all social science, in all the fields about the older stuff that's very colonial, very racist, very Islamophobic, very Orientalist. They haven't heard about it and they don't want to hear about it, and it's not affecting their careers. So there's people who actually I'm not going to do anything. So multiple times when we were attacked again and again and again, this is how also neo-McCarthyism benefits, because it relies also on people are not going to do anything. When somebody is attacked, people I'll go on campus and I see a colleague of mine walking the other way, and everybody knows all these lies. We Every single thing we were accused of, we were exonerated. Even using very bureaucratic channels and so on, they've done it again and again and again. So this is something that has been going on more and more and more. To the point is, how much more time? Oh, you're not watching. Okay. Okay. I talked about a lot of the things. So I think I'm going to get to the point where I want to stop and talk a little bit about, just give some information about what's going on in Gaza. And why is it, oh yeah, well, there was one more thing I wanted to speak about. I got thrown off a little bit. Thank you, no problem. How can you get in touch with me? I'll give you info. I'll give everybody information. Yeah. I'm online. I'm available. Anybody can get in touch with me. Oh, the other thing that I think it's really important, actually, when we were trying to convince our colleagues why there should be an Ahmed, some of the colleagues said that Ahmed is a foreign entity. You're foreign recent immigrants and so on. We actually went over it and we said, actually, the history does not begin today or in 69. It begins in 1492. Because in 1492, when the Castilian kings, remember we studied all of this stuff, right? When the Castilian kings took over Andalusia, wanted to compete with the British Empire and found routes to India, they hired a mercenary by the name of Christopher Columbus, and he was a mercenary, I'm not actually adding adjectives, to go find them routes, alternative routes to India. Getting lost, he called them West Indies, right? And so, but 1492 began the era of the conquistadores, and in Latin America and the Caribbean. And then in the north, we have all these quote unquote the pioneers coming from English places and setting up colonies and settlements and passing judgment on the people who were there about their religions, cultures of life, calling them heathens, and some trying to resuscitate them, because we know that there was some discussions in the Spanish court about if we can save the soul of the Indian or not, but actually not saving is the one that took over. But the other ones were thinking this is it. We are the ones who should have this land, which is very actually similar story to the narrative of the Zionists. If you read Zionist narrative, it's the same thing. We came, there was nobody there. It was all desert. We irritated it, we built it and so on. So if it's all there, how come in the Bible and the Quran and the Torah, they talk about olives and they talk about figs and they talk about grapes? Where do they come from? From the imagination? I mean, if they, and where were the palm trees underneath Mary gave birth to Jesus? So, it just doesn't make sense, but they actually believe it. But also the reason we also talk about 1492 is because 1492 was also the year when the Castilian kings also subjected Muslims and Jews to discrimination. So it was the Jews, everybody knows about the Inquisition, but many people do not know about Islamophobia and trying to convert Muslims and Jews by making them eat pork and chasing them out and displacing them. And many of the Jews basically could not go to anywhere in Europe. Ibn Maimonides, the very well-known Jewish scholar from Cordoba, ended up in Cairo because that was the only place he could be. And he studied, and his places are there and being renovated and so on. People don't even know about that. People don't know that when the African people were kidnapped and enslaved, many of them wrote Quranic verses on the walls of their prison. We all know about roots, and we know about Alex Haley, boy, remember your name, okay, and the Kinto cloth and so on. But he says, remember Yoruba and so on, but he doesn't say anything about the Quran. But we do know now Alex Haley's scholarship is being questioned because he fabricated the relationship between Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and said that the relationship was actually really antagonistic when which was really, really harmful to the movement. I mean, this is not something that you could just like right away and so on. But this is something that actually is part. So Islamophobia is also part and parcel of the history of this country. It's not something new, and it's endemic. And when people, so it's not people come to that. Okay, so I'm going to, I think maybe one. That's it. I think I want to stop and talk about, okay, so I just want to say that I believe that our role is speaking truth to power. We need to speak about what's going on. We cannot allow the genocide that's going on in Gaza continue, or genocide anywhere in the world. when people speak about, and some Zionists speak about, never again the Holocaust of 6 million Jews. Other people say never anti-Zionist Jews, never again for anyone. So we do not exceptionalize one experience, horrible experience, to justify and legitimize another. No bad experience. And also, I think it's really important to know is that the Jews who escaped from the Holocaust were not the ones who oppressed the Palestinians. It was Zionists who came from Eastern Europe and utilized the Holocaust in order to push their cause. But actually, the relationship was historically with the colonialist power in Western Europe, who wanted to get rid of the Jews. They were anti-Semitic. They didn't want the Jews. And the Zionists said, we want to take the Jews. So they made alliances with each other. It's all written. There is so much writing about that. But also, this is something that we are not allowed to teach. I mean, even one course I'm teaching in Palestine, I can't teach all of it. I give students 20 references and so on, but you can only teach 2 or 3 texts maximum a week in the class. What I'm saying is that it's really important for people to know what's going on. It's very important to not exceptionalize Palestine and say, oh, it is only about Palestine. It's really important to study anything from the perspective of the marginalized communities, not from the perspective of the people who oppress them, or the people who claim to be neutral, like the New York Times and so on, who are actually also very much part and parcel of the status quo. And it's really important to disrupt the status quo and not allow business as usual to continue. As long as people are suffering, it is not okay. So the people who are stopping the Bay Bridge, the people who took over the rotunda in Washington, D.C., the Grand Central Station, the 30th Street Station in Philadelphia, and each one of them actually has references. So when we speak in Palestine, we say, Philadelphia is where the U.S. Mayor actually dropped the bomb on the move, on his own population, killed the move people. They were living there. Yeah, they killed. We talk about all of this stuff and connect all of the issues together. It is not okay. So what's going on today? Or the martyr Aaron Bushnell, who actually left no way to misunderstand what he's doing, because there is always, the colonialists always find ways to misinterpret and twist the truth and so on. He's no. Israeli embassy, he put all the posts on his Facebook. He said, free, free, free Palestine. He spoke about all of this, so nobody will say that it is something else. He actually made sure that his narrative is his narrative. And at the beginning, the mainstream media ignored him. But then after so many people supported him, and so many veterans went and burned their uniforms in barrels, and they said, we're all Aaron Bushnell. Now the media, of course, recognizes that this is a story we need to follow and so on. Something is happening. Something is going on in this country. Something is going on today. It's around Palestine. Something happened in 68, around the 68 spirit, whether you're talking about Vietnam, you're talking about the Black Power movement, you're talking about all the movements, liberation movement that were connected with each other and so on. And today, people are connecting internationally with each other. They're expressing solidarity with each other. And nobody is saying Palestine is more important than anybody else. We refuse and reject the Operation Olympics. We insist that the justice for Palestine is part and parcel of the indivisibility of justice. And we insist that we cannot allow this injustice to continue. We must continue until justice is achieved, until Israel withdraws from Gaza, until Palestine is free. And for that, it's very important for us, as I began to say, when we are on indigenous lands, we're complicit. Every single person here, whether we want to or not, is complicit. Every dollar you give is a bullet in the chest of a Palestinian child, whether we like it or not. I mean, if you're paying taxes, this is what it is. Okay. So the question is, it's not even a question of charity. It's a question of responsibility, of accountability, of standing there and being counted and saying, I'm not going to allow this to happen, to participate in any way possible. I'm not saying everybody has to go get arrested, because arrests also have to be taken into consideration, the movement, what are the conditions. This is why also a lot of white Jewish Americans actually started getting arrested, because many of them, my friends told me, part of it is that I can put my body on the lines and I'll be released tomorrow. If they arrest brown and black kids, if they arrest Arabs, if they arrest immigrants and so on, we don't know what's going to happen to them. So there is also consciousness of the location, of the class, of the privileges, and how we can use privileges actually to advance the struggle. Not in a way to go and say to the Palestinians, I did this for you, but to say we're in solidarity with you. Not in our name. What Israel is doing, not in our name. We're all in it together. And we are all in it together. We will win. Thank you. Palestine. Free Palestine. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions for Professor Abdulhadi? We have maybe 4 or 5 minutes.
Thank you. Another auntie in the community, worship for your agency and being a lawyer and holding it down within the institution. I work at SFSU College and I'm a and I also teach in 2021 I did the postgrad certificate of administration.
Okay.
And I just wanted to ask from you because the Palestine genocide when it's really showed how the institution is in the silence of our administration across the district. And I want to recognize my sister Camille, because she really, she's a family faculty member, and she really took it upon herself with the support of many of us to fill the void of the institution and the administration. And in fact, even our racial and social justice committee, and that was very telling in terms of the complexity of and administration. And so it just reinforced what hearing you and what you're addressing at it really is the change going to have come from the it's not going to come from the system. And I appreciate mi hermano starting up with Auntie Audrey Lord, right? The massive tools that we never dismantle in our institutional policies and policies like that.
Yeah.
So thank you for the guidance and maintaining that disruption at our
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I agree with everything you said. I'm just going to say one thing. It's really, really important to institutionalize Palestine in the curriculum, because the attempt is to criminalize Palestine and erase it from the curriculum. There's a very, very strong campaign. So it's really important to have as many courses as possible, not only to do experimental college, but to insist like the 68 strikers, because once they are like, they cannot remove our courses now. They can do whatever they want, and they are really nasty. I receive death threats, voicemail, all of it, but we have the courses. They can't take them away. So I think it's really important, because that becomes a conduit for young people to study, because you cannot depend on you can't depend on DEI, because a lot of the DEI people are actually like in bed with the Zionists. So at San Francisco State they are.
I just wanted to say, first of all, let me start with a quote. The war of extermination will continue between the races until the Indian becomes extinct. That is a quote from the first governor of California, and I am a California Indian. So I am a survivor of genocide. And so I just wanted to say that I knew that Palestine was living under brutal occupation, but I didn't know much more than that. And of course, I'm still living under brutal occupation. But like you said, I don't want to participate in oppression Olympics. And a couple of years ago, before the pandemic, I got to
Mhm.
And she was here with Dr. Nick Estes, an indigenous
I know,
scholar.
Red
And
Nation.
they were speaking about, at Berkeley City College about the Nakba.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, what is that? I didn't even know what it was. So I said, well, let me look it up before I go. And it means the catastrophe. And so, okay, well, what is the catastrophe? It is being removed from their land. And it hit me. I said, oh my God, this is the fucking Trail of Tears. And so we're looking at all of this intersection of just the depth of land and whose bodies are expendable. And so, and yesterday I was at UC Berkeley and there was a huge crowd of students and law students because they even their voices are being silenced at a law school when that's supposed to be teaching constitutional law and First Amendment. But no, a Palestinian law student was physically harassed, and I just want to say how much I just.
Thank you so much. And by the way, she was harassed by the wife of the dean of the law school. So
They're calling for her resignation.
yeah. But and I think the whole question, the whole question of settler colonialism is so important. I know them both really well, and I definitely think that no context is the same as another. So I don't want to conflate context. I don't want to say it's the same. It is not the same. Each context has its own history, its own specificities, and so on. And we cannot be lazy. We need to understand it all and understand the complexities and how people conduct struggles in different ways differently, even in different Palestinian locations. And by the way, the Nakba, it was almost 1,750,000 to 800,000 Palestinians who've been displaced. But also, you mentioned the bodies. My research project now is I'm actually looking into rematriation of the bodies of the martyrs who've been kept by Israel in so-called number cemetery. They hold on to people who were killed 40 years ago. They won't give the bodies to their families to bury them and have peace and dignity, which is something really important for Muslims, for example. And they hold on to them as a bargaining chip. So, and the only people who know where the bodies are the Israeli government, the prison administration, and the Israeli intelligence. Nobody knows. So, for example, if there is a wind or something that removes the numbers, we don't know who's underneath. It happens so many times at cemeteries. Cemeteries were attacked again, and I don't have time to actually, that's a whole new project. But even the bodies, people say, give us our children, we would like to bury them. Or they might be in freezers. And one guy we met during the prisoners delegation, he said, my son is in an ice of 500 minus degrees Celsius. I don't know if his arm this way, his arms that way, what's happening to him. I want to bury him. Then finally, we went in March. Finally, in July, they gave him the body and insisted that only 25 people can go to the funeral. No media, no news, no nothing. Otherwise, they won't be able to bury. I mean, this is like, it's insane. It's even and you see, the thing is that I think it's really important for us to compare, not say the same, but also there are so many, I always say, where are the bones? Where are the bones? There are in museums. France last year gave 24 skulls from the Algerian War of Liberation that France was displaying in the Museum of Man, Musée de l'Homme, displaying the skulls. And there is so many more, thousands and thousands and thousands. Everybody, people who studied women's studies know about Sarah Barton, right? You know, I don't want to use the other name, which is very derogatory. But when was Sarah Barton buried? When Nelson Mandela demanded that her bones be retrieved and she got dignified burial in Cape Town. I'm saying that this is something we need to demand, and we need to get as many incremental victories as we can. But liberation for all, the bodies of all, every single time you go to build a building, you find underneath it mass graves of many African Americans who've been, I mean, it's crazy. In Chile, in Argentina, how many people are missing? In Mexico, the 43 students, nobody knows where they are, their family. It is not okay. And I think it's really important for us to continue demanding. Never give up on any injustice. Continue demanding justice and accountability for people. Thank you.
And in my tradition, there's always doorway in, doorway out. So we opened up with the powwow singers. We can't just close it and disperse and go home without closing it up in a good way. So I'm gonna ask everyone to stand. I'm gonna close it with a song. We're gonna do a final unity clap, and then my wish for everybody is that you take home all of this good medicine, that you think on it, that you pray on it, and that it allows you to move in a good way in your everyday life. This is a song of the Mexica Nation. It's a song for blessing a gathering. It's called Kiawilitzli. Incent plalitling wikat planin sing shiai planin sing shiai liya wilitli liya planin sing shiai planin sing shiai Incent plalitling wikat planin sing shiai planin sing shiai. For third world peoples around the world, let's do one unity clap and close it up. Conmigo. Love you. Take care. If you have a moment, please hit the QR code for the survey thank you. And also to learn more about DVC's Palestinian Solidarity Group and support in that way. Thank you.